All right, test 1, 2, test 1, 2. Let's check if this is working. Just doing a quick little audio test here. Let's go to YouTube. Oops. And just do a quick audio test. Okay. Oh, that's not what I want. Sorry guys, just bear with me for 30 seconds here. You'd think I would have figured this out by now. Just going to verify that this is working on a different computer. And then copy this link and send it out to everybody else. All right, so the link should be appearing right now in Facebook. So let's just post this in Facebook. One sec. I got to figure out how to schedule these things. I just haven't quite got there yet. Create post. All right. There we go. This is going to be video live stream. So and futures. There we go. Let's do it this way. All right, I think I'm pretty much ready to go. Just post it right there and then post it again on Twitter. Share this event. Share. And then let's go to Twitter, post it there, and then I think I am ready to rock. Okay, good. Test 1, 2. Okay, sounds like audio is working and ready to rock. Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to On Point Stocks and Options Trading. Oh, hi, just sorry, I got a headset in my ear from a different computer, so I'm listening to myself talk, and I was like kind of throwing me off. Good morning, Oksana. Um, okay, everyone. So this stream is for educational purposes only. This live stream will be the analyzing of live stocks, options, futures, contracts for educational purposes. And though I will be setting up trades for examples and discussion in this live stream video, these trades are for educational purposes to create a learning environment. And all trading has risk. Make sure you understand the risks before ever taking a trade. Okay, let's kind of get started here. So make sure I'm sharing a correct screen. Yep, everything looks good. How was your weekend? Did you have a good weekend out there? It's been we got some snow this weekend up here in the Okanagan. It's a little bit chilly. All right, let's start doing some analysis. We'll start off with the S&P. I think what just opened, gold just opened. Rainy in California. Wow, rainy in California. This is a phrase you don't hear very often. Wintertime. Yeah, I miss California. Haven't been there for a while. This whole border thing's got everything in lockdown. Not a whole lot to do nowadays. And everything's shutting down again. Geez, Calgary, Alberta's gone into full lockdown. Toronto's gone into full lockdown. I can't travel much. I'm in BC, but even still, we live in the Okanagan, pretty remote area, so nothing too bad here. Um, Pretty isolated already. All right, so looking at gold here, we can see that gold is currently, time frame around 5 minute here. Oh, I'm on the wrong chart. There we go. Gold is just opened up at 20 after 5. So just a few minutes ago, hasn't really done much. It is poised and set up for a break to the downside. It's actually created a pretty nice level here, at least on a 5 minute chart, right in there as if it was going to move lower. It just hasn't followed through. So got to remember, gold is trending up at this moment on the hourly. And this is the first kind of break of that uptrend with a pivot low. Break to a new pivot low. Now, this could end up being a supply level that would be technically acceptable as a supply level. 80 to 81.50. What is that? Sorry, I'm looking at the S&P. Why am I talking about gold? I got the wrong chart on the wrong screen. Sorry about that. Let me just fix this. Okay, back to the S&P. S&P back has been in an uptrend, but if we look here at the 60-minute, here's the challenge. Just coming off that 8 moving average on a 60-minute. And so even though it's set up like it is wanting to break right here, it's really kind of got a bit of a conflicting set of analyses. So you've got broken trend on 5 and 15 with a new supply or sell zone above, and then you have moving averages above on every other time frame, or below on every other time frame on the 60-minute particularly, which look like they're active, even the daily chart. So it's kind of one of those setups where you have conflicting information. Going back to a 1 minute chart, this is really the chart where you know it's going to kind of tell the tale. Is this going to end up just being a double bottom and continue, or will this become something that will create another lower low? If it does create another lower low, um, it'll give us a little bit more information, but that's a 1 minute chart. So, you know, that's a point move right there. That's not really a whole lot. So let's continue on, see if we can find something that's a little bit more in line with what we're looking for. So this right here, if you could see in this corner here, I'm not sure how the resolution is on your computer. That's a 5 minute chart. And so I do look at, I have on a different screen, I have the weekly, the daily, the 240, which I'll switch between 120 and 240, the 60, the 15, and the 5. And I keep them all up at all times, though, I might only look at the weekly and the daily just to get a context of where it is in the you know, in that move right now. See, the big thing here is if you look at the 240-minute, which again, this one's giving me a bit of challenge on that. Let me just fix this really quick. There we go. If we look at the 240-minute, you can see that we had this short-term downtrend going on right here, which really just kind of busted, and we're just out of that right now. And I was holding on top of the moving averages. Um, you know, all Sunday's trading was above that moving average. Monday morning trading above that moving average, and it's kind of holding up there. So it's a strong reversal. It's kind of like right here, a strong reversal pattern. We haven't seen continuation yet, and it's still so early to tell. You got to understand also trading is going to be pretty slow right now coming into Christmas like this. The markets are always light prior to Christmas. So let's move on to another chart here quickly. We'll come back to this one. It is a sell setup, but we're not quite there yet. All right, so we're taking a look at gold now, 5-minute chart. And gold, this is in a downtrend. 240, let me just take a peek at this quickly. Yeah, so let's take a look at this 240 here. So this 240-minute chart was in a nice trending channel on the upside, and then that upside trend broke, and now it's kind of begun that downside trend, right? So we're either creating this head and shoulders here, in which case it could probably get back down here somewhere, or it's currently, it's a 240-minute chart. I mean, this is a really big time frame to be looking at. Let's go down to a 60. Yeah, 60-minute chart, even still. Yeah, it still looks like it's just setting up to go lower. Just broke that new pivot low right there. Not with a whole lot of strength to the downside, but let's go to that 15-minute chart. Again, just consolidating right now. There's no levels nearby that I like. The Sunday overnight trading is always a little dangerous. And this is where Sunday opened up right here at 1500. So it these are usually pretty low volume, like the lowest volume of the low throughout the week is a Sunday. So, as we discussed before, low volume zones are higher risk, not higher risk, I guess, say less probability. Even though they do work sometimes, they're less probability. So nothing huge happening right here. Oops. On gold. Let's take a quick peek at the S&P. Looks like it wants to go lower. Never made it back to that little zone. Keep an eye on that one. What do we got here? We've got copper. So let's take a look at copper on a higher time frame. First off, we could take a look at copper on a 240. It's just been going sideways. So let's look at it on a 60. Line raise. So on a 60-minute chart, not really a whole lot of direction, basically just sitting sideways. There is a little level down here that's off of 15, and you got a level up here, and we're kind of right in between. We've had this little trending market which broke, came back, retested again, then it broke through, never made it back down to this level, and it's just kind of holding in between right now. So nothing much happening on a 60-minute. Take it to a 15. It's just basically consolidating sideways. That's a low volume level still. Higher volume up there, but nothing. There's nothing on here. Maybe this is going to have some effect right here. Let's take a look at that on a 60. It's not even there. It's a 15 and a 5-minute level. So it's, again, as I mentioned before, always try and find more than one reason. And this level is not even visible on the other time frames. We can leave it in there for example, for lesson purposes, but I don't think I would take that trade setup. Let's go back to a 15. All right, so copper's not doing a whole lot at the moment. This is intraday trading right here. That level right there, we're just touching it, but it's not in a good position. Okay, let's take a look at S&P again. Still holding. Gold, nothing. Copper. Okay, let's take a look at oil. Let's get rid of some of these alerts. So oil, let's take a look at first of all 120. Start new. So let's take a look at 120 minute here on oil. Nice trend, uptrend. We've come out of that pullback. We've had the nice breakout to the upside. Can remove this now, and we just did the same thing once again. We had the nice pullback. Broken out to the upside, and we're now holding on those moving averages. You can see how that 8 moving average is holding again and again and again. Coming up to a supply level or a sell zone. So let's go with, what do we call that? 120, go with 60. 60 minute, that's just trailing on the moving averages. It looks like it's holding quite nicely. And it's now starting to push up. Could set a small trend line in here. Not certain if it's going to be a trend channel just yet, but we could put that right there. Could see if that ends up becoming a trend channel, and we're just working our way higher. So there is an alert set for this area right here, which was a intraday zone. So we're waiting for price to get up there. Let's go down to a 30 minute. So you can see on this level, there's a bit of a wick on this candle. That just tells us that there's some sort of, sorry, in this area, there's a bit of wick on this candle. You can tell that there's some sort of level in there. I'm looking for something on the demand side, but look at the volume. There's just basically no volume at all. This level we had in from last week actually held multiple times really well. Nothing here. Okay, let's take it down to a 15-minute chart. 15-minute chart. Well, there's just that level right there. That's basically it. Well, you know what we'll do is let's put in this right here. I know it's got to come down a ways to get here, and it's not really in an ideal situation with the like low volume and stuff. But let's just draw that one in as a marker here, and we'll put an alert so we'll get an idea if price does make it lower. But right now it just looks like it's going higher. So any kind of pullback on a moving average would probably be the ideal trade setup. Of course, we've had that here on the 15 minute. It's kind of a bit late. We're about 45 minutes late on that one. So right now it looks like we're going to work our way up to hitting that particular level. So let's give this a little bit of time to work out. Oops. Got a couple of these things in here. We'll let it push a little higher first. As we kind of work through the charts, get an idea of what's happening. S&P still hasn't done anything. Oil still hasn't done anything. Copper's flat. The only one that's moving really is oil's moving. Gold's not done anything. So it looks like oil's going to be the one that's making a play today. All right, and oil's pushing up. So let's get ready on oil. Set that chart up. All right, good. So oil's level is 74.48 to 47.78. 47.48 to 47.59. So roughly 11 ticks in here in terms of risk, which is acceptable. See if we get up there. Maximize. Just gonna take a good look at that zone. Yeah, you know, it's an 815 zone. That's a zone right there. Put that order in. There we go. All right, so let's let that one happen. Entry set 47.47. Stop is above 47.61. Again, all for educational purposes. Let's let that one happen. Let's take a look at natural gas. All right, 5:50. Yeah, 10 minutes before the open. All right. So oil opens up in 10 minutes, and I'm always very, very careful about setting a limit order at the open. I got to cancel that order because typical volume that comes in during order limit during open can push price through zones. So you got to be more active and actually drop the order in using a market order typically. So I'm going to cancel that limit order and instead set a new alert. And of course, just be aware of the clock so that notified when oil does open up. Let's go back to natural gas. So natural gas daily has been in a downtrend. Look at the daily chart. Look at that. But it is currently, oops, sorry, you weren't looking at a daily chart. Let me change this to a 240 for you. 240 minute downtrend. Look at that on a daily. But on the 240, it's in an uptrend. Quite nicely, channeling, staying within that channel's range. So let's look at opportunities to sell in the context of the downtrend. And if I'm not mistaken, it looks like it's setting up right here with a level, sell level right there, confluencing with the trending moving average on a higher time frame. So that looks like that might be a setup right there on a 240 minute chart. Let's break it down to a smaller time frame. 60 minute, holding on the moving averages, pushing higher. Let's take a look at that level on a 60 minute. Low volume level. It's always a challenge. It's a much, much better level just above. Let's go 60 minute here. Let's draw this in. It's a much better level right there. All right, so we are approaching a level, unfortunately, on low volume level, and it is trending up to that level. It's kind of hesitating right here. Coming down to the 50 on the 15. Let's take a look at the 5. Kind of losing its momentum. All right, let's take a look at oil. Still not pushing up there. Maybe with the open, it'll push up into that area. S&P's still stuck, doing nothing. Gold, I don't think gold's even moved. Literally hasn't moved. Copper, same thing. Oil's the only one that's moving, and it just kind of stalled out. All right. So oil's pulled back to the moving average hasn't occurred yet. This is, let's get this here. Basically, we got 6 minutes before oil opens, so we'll be patient. Let's take a look at the euro dollar here. Euro's been bouncing up against this level this morning here. Look at that. 1:30 a.m. it came into it. Kind of pushed out, hit it again, and then finally broke through. It's coming off that level we had set from Friday. I guess it hit that level in the morning there, and it's been pushing up to the next one. So it is currently just trading itself into all of these prior levels, which are all used and not fresh. Doesn't mean that they're not going to work. It just means that there's lower probability of them working. So let's jump up to a higher time frame here on the euro. So 240, man, it's high 121. a look at something here. I need more data. Let me just add some data to this one. Huh, that's still not enough. Oh, I got continuous volume. I got to change that. Nope, wrong button. That is not what I wanted to have happen. Let me quickly flatten that. Let's just close that down, flatten. My bad. Just one sec here. Continuous volume. When I moved the charting platform over, I had some things change on it. Like, for example, where these buttons are located, and I'm trying to figure out how to reprogram these things. So now and then you tend to click on these things, and it's like giving me a totally different piece of information. For example, it might be a buy order, and that's not what it's supposed to be. So I'm still trying to work through some of the bugs on here. This continuous volume chart is not giving me the data that I'm looking for, unfortunately. So we're probably not going to be able to mess with this because I might have to reload the data for this particular chart, which would be the euro. So let's get rid of that. Let's focus on the Canadian dollar here. Canadian dollar is looking good. Oh, we just got that supply level. Forgot about that. Let's take a quick look at gold. Okay, gold. So the S&P is pushing back up. Gold pushed back up. Copper. Oil is opening in 3 minutes. And let's take a look at Canadian dollar. All right, so Canadian dollar came up into that sell area that we had that the other day, and I actually like this setup. I want to take this. Let's do a quick risk to reward thing here. 14 ticks of risk. It's coming up on a really strong momentum move, so I got alarms going off on my other computer. So I want to set this up. I'm not really keen of selling when it does that real powerful kind of momentum where you could see it's like pushing, like building up to the high, like building and building. But this is one of the levels that I was looking to take. So looking at this chart here on a 240 minute, oops, sorry, 240 minute, you can see that the momentum has been to the upside. Just going to quickly add more data here. There we go. You can see momentum has been to the upside, so it's a harsh core counter trend trade. Looking at this for a short setup is a fresh level, has never been tested prior to today, and is a high volume level. But again, it's a supply level in the context of an uptrend. Take it down to a 60-minute chart. 60-minute chart, you can see we're pushing deeper into that level right there. Still going. Is that level going to hold, or is that level going to give a pushback? 60. Let's go to a 15. And let's back this down on this chart right here. Of course, oil is going to be opening as well. All right. Okay. So sell orders initiated. Obviously, selling into strength's never a good idea, but this, um, it's a good setup. I mean, it's counter trend, so it's a lower probability. Bring that down. There we go. We're good. We'll see if it resists that. If that level rejects price and pushes it back down, in which case we'll be all set. I just got to quickly journal this. screen print. So we got a little tiny push off there, nothing serious. Let's see if it continues to the downside. And for that to happen, momentum's got to change. And so, I mean, again, it's against the current. We're swimming upstream. I get that. But, you know, that's the zone. How come it only traded one contract? Oh, crap. It was not set correctly. That's why. Okay, no problem. So we actually kind of messed up there, only got in with one contract. Um, Supposed to be two on this trade, but that's okay. It is what it is. Let it go. Take a quick look around. The S&P trade is trading up into that low level. Again, this is counter trend as per it is on the 240 minute, the daily. It's and the 60 minutes been in that uptrend. We're above the moving averages. 30 minutes till the open in that little level right there. Let me just take a look around first. Gold is not doing anything. Copper, oil should have just opened up 2 minutes ago. So oil dropped down. It never made it to our level, unfortunately. Okay, so oil's not cooperating. Now, oil market, you know, volatile, although again, low volume right now. So natural gas just flat, doing nothing. Nat gas opened up as well, so we should be aware of that. It's kind of holding. It looks like it wants to go lower almost. The CAD is pushing back up. Okay. So it looks like CAD's bounced off that 5 minute. If we look at the 5 minute here, and it looks like that 5 minute held and it's rallying back up. I'm going to quickly, still a couple more. I'm going to add to this position as I think we're going lower. I could be wrong. I think we're going to have a little bit lower move here. Let's leave that for now. Let's take a look at oil. Never made it to that supply level. So for oil, it's really going to be a matter of whether or not it starts breaking moving averages. If it does, then might see it go considerably lower. But got to remember, when it's in an uptrend, just like the CAD, all the moving averages below are all supporting price. So you've got, you know, if I take it on the CAD here and we look at the 1 minute, right? The 1 minute supporting price, and we need that 1 minute to break and then become resistance to price before we can expect to have any kind of chance here. Then we have a 2 minute, or not a 2 minute, 5 minute. 5 minute is supporting price. Once again, we need those moving averages to break. So when I see that this is already broken once, that's encouraging, right? It's been holding, holding, holding. This has clearly been the active chart. Then it pierced it, broke it, it violated, closed below it. The second attempt, it may even have a deeper move. We might be able to get back down to here. It gives us almost 1-to-1. Good place to take a contract off. 15-minute chart, though, is the obstacle. So 15-minute, this is still active. And although it's not touching it, it's still influencing price and pushing it. So we need all these different time frames to break. The moving averages, which is why counter trend trading is always very difficult. You're almost always better to buy in this area, right? So after you get that reversal and then you get the first retest and it starts to hold, that's when you're better to buy. But again, it's difficult to time those. So that's the challenge with that. So this is basically just still chopping slowly around. And it's going to have a lot of confluencing with what happens with oil. The Canadian dollar and oil tend to move in, in alignment quite accurately. Copper, gold. And the S&P. S&P still in this little level right here. It's tempting to sell it, but it's a strong market. Okay, keep it on the cat for now. I need to start loading up platforms for options because options trading is going to begin here pretty quick. So let me get this loaded up while we're waiting. Hopefully this doesn't just become a sideways move till the moving averages come up and then it pushes, because then it'll be a stop out. And that would suck. First trade of the day, you always want it to be a winner if you can. But that's part of trading. Trades win, some lose. Oh, crap, wrong button. So this platform I'm using here is called Sierra Charts. And although I've been using it for a long time, it's just incredibly complex to program. And moving it from one computer to another computer, I was trying to rebuild the platform this time rather than copying all the data. It's about like 30 or 40 gigs of data. So moving it to my trading computer is trying to rebuild it anew because there was some things in the other one that I wasn't too pleased with. And man, is it ever complicated. Oh my God. It took a lot to get this thing organized. So, anyways, it's moved now. And I'm still working out bugs. I'm still finding that there are some challenges that I have to overcome. All right, so this platform is open. We'll come back to that one a little bit later as we're watching molasses move with this short Canadian dollar setup here. S&P starting to drop from that level. Yeah, you know what? S&P looks like it would be a good short. 7950. It's just that level. It's above all the moving averages. That 60-minute. I'll show you what I mean about the S&P here. It's a 60-minute moving average. It's active. It's 8. It hasn't been violated. It hasn't been pierced. It's just basically active, and it's right there below price. That's been touched. I got a bit of a bounce, but that level that we're looking at is really only on, yeah, it's really only on a 15-minute chart. There's the challenge. Just not enough probability. It's not even the primary type of level I look for. This is just kind of a potential for a level that could become something later. If it does break another leg down, then that level does become important. If this thing drops to here, then that level will become much more important, but it's just not there yet. Gold pulling back slightly. Gold's got a really nice reversal pattern set up here. It's on a 15-minute. Let's draw this level on gold here. This level, it's wrong. Let's erase it. This level on gold looks like it should be something right there. Now, again, well, it's got some volume in it, a little bit of volume in it. I'm going to set an alert for that level. Let's put that out there. Gold has been trending down, unfortunately. That puts it back below the moving averages. It's hard to find the exact right setup. Sometimes you got to kind of force setups to make it happen. I was going to Canadian dollar, still not moving. Jeez. You got to kind of force setups to get anything to happen, but it's kind of where we're at. Slight pullback. Copper. Oh, copper's breaking to the downside slightly. I believe copper is the one that we looked at yesterday or Friday. No, this isn't the one. Yeah, this is the one. And there was all kinds of obstacles down here. and it wound up breaking through them and getting to that little level here before it had that huge bounce. That's right. So we're basically just kind of trading in that range right now. And it looks like it's trending to the downside. So this trend line is still having an effect on price, clearly. Slight effect. Well, we could say in copper right here, which in time frames is 5 minute. Let's go to a 15. Not on a 15. So on this 5 minute chart on copper, there is a level here, but unfortunately it's only one time frame. So it's a 5 minute level, which again, lower probability. It's got to be on multiple time frames to be valid. And that's just not on multiple time frames. CAD, just basically holding on that 15 minute level, got a, or that 15 minute moving average. That's okay. Back to oil. Oil's bouncing. So there was what's happening right here. So oil broke the 5 minute moving average and it's down to the 15. And now it's actually catching a bit of a bid on that 21. So this is what's happening. Oil's context of the uptrend. There's going to be a bounce here. It's not decided whether it's going to go lower. It might push back up into that area here, and then we'll get a bit more of a sell-off. Who knows? But it's basically holding right here in the context of this trend. Man, markets are so slow. All right, so let's take a peek at 1 second here, folks. There we go. Okay. All right. Nothing's happening. Okay, we just wait. CAD's still just sitting there, doing nothing. S&P is kind of holding. All right, so let's start scanning through some stock opportunities. Let me get rid of this. This is not BC Hedge. This is good. Okay, go back to Canadian. I just got a screen print one more time. Two more, I should say. One thing I like to do, folks, is I do journal everything constantly. It's always good to have, detailed records, because when you're going back over things, you'll be looking at it and be like, why did I get out there? Or why did I do that? You're not going to remember by Friday. But if you have screen prints with a little bit of notes, before, after, and during chart setups, snippets, then you can look back and be like, huh, okay, I see why I did that. Or, geez, that was crazy. What was I thinking? Sometimes you get both of those. This trade, I can't believe how flat it is. It's completely stopped. All right. So let's quickly get started here. So as we're having basically zero happen in futures, what we're going to do now is we're going to start looking for opportunities. I have a monster list of high volume, high open interest, tight spread options, stocks that have options, and then I sort them by market cap. So largest market cap obviously is first. Just lost my window. Can't see if people are chatting. Sorry. Can be a breakout on the downside. Sorry, I missed that, Oksana. What one were you looking at? I got to get used to looking at chat here. Gonna move this to a screen where I can actually see it constantly. Yes. Yeah, ES does look like it wants to break to the downside, doesn't it? Let's take a peek at that. It looks like it's setting up for that. Exactly. The fact it isn't doing anything yet, 15 minutes, we got open coming up, means it's probably going to hold before the open or just poke out before the open and then maybe reverse. It's hard to say. But it's definitely setting up for what's called an open range breakout. So you've probably seen these if you watched any of the XLTs. Oh, you're already short? Yes. Oh, good, good. Um, Open range breakout, basically take the prior 5 or 15-minute candle, or if it's a range, take the prior range and then sell below or buy above. Um, that works well in some cases not. Um, Primarily, it's based on when you got a momentum, a lot of volume coming in, and the algos start pushing price in one direction or the other. I just don't see a lot of volume coming in. Like the volume is incredibly low this morning compared to usual, and that's because we're coming into Christmas season. So I'm just kind of sitting on the sidelines on that one. Even the Canadian dollar's got nothing. Even it's already low volume. Oil's just kind of holding on the moving averages here. That's actually a buy setup right there for oil. 9. Yeah, you need quite a bit of risk management here. Wonder if taking an oil long here. Actually, I'm already in short, so with the correlating assets, so I'm just gonna leave that short on. Oh, don't go to XLTs anymore? Okay. Yeah, it's good to have change now and then, right? To try different things. All right, let's work through this list really quick here. Looks like oil's maybe gonna break a little lower. Guess we'll see. Okay, here we go. So Apple. Now we talked yesterday about Apple. This is actually setting up quite nicely. Had a couple of resistance points above that have pushed price back, and we've been trailing above on this daily moving average. This moving average has been holding quite nicely. As of late, kind of got deep right down that 21 EMA, bounced. Now it's back up a bit. And what we see right here is we're below this hourly moving average, but we're setting up like it's probably going to break above. It's probably going to gap over today. In fact, let's open this up. Set this up right here. Here we go. So yeah, we're going to gap up and over that moving average today, which may set up for a nice move over throughout the week. So this is going to be one we'll keep an eye on. So Apple's definitely going to be on the watch list. It's just continuing in an uptrend. I mean, this is Apple, right? It's making swing lows, swing highs. It's got a hesitation point, and then it pushes and breaks to a new high, which it hasn't done yet. So we'll see if that happens. Let's move that out a bit, zoom in a little, and let's take a look. Microsoft. Looks like CAD's finally starting to push down. Let's take a peek at CAD. Slightly, ever so slightly. Coming in at 15-minute moving average. Yeah, let's see if that does anything. All right, let's go back to our charts here. All right. Nothing on Microsoft. Let's continue. Facebook. Whoops. Facebook. Nothing on Facebook. So Alibaba still looking kind of bearish. I like that. TSM looks nice. Let's just set this up here. Monday. TSM. Today is 12/14. So Monday 12/14. TSM looking great. Nice little gap up on the open, bouncing off that 8 moving average. Solid uptrend, all-time highs. I mean, stretched actually. Dividend payment coming up on the 17th. All right, looks okay. Let's go to Visa. This is looking good. It's broken that trend though, not set. Walmart. Walmart's looking bearish. Strange. Hmm. Okay. J&J, Johnson & Johnson, it's consolidating in a range. My buddy's got this one right now, and he's all stoked about it. I'm like, dude, it's not really going anywhere. Oh, interesting. Looks like the CAD has, take a quick peek at this. The CAD has broken its 15-minute 8 moving average, but not closed below. There are 7 minutes left in this candle. Lots can happen. So leave it go. Let's take a look here. I should take a look at the other markets as well. S&P still trading in the range. Gold is flat. Copper flat. Oil selling off. Wow. Okay, well that's good. That bodes well. Let's do one last thing here before we move forward. Yeah. It's just you start looking at this and it's like it's gonna be a slow day. Absolutely nothing going on in economic reports. Let's take a look at the crypto market for the second here. What's Bitcoin at? 19,000. Oh, jeez. I don't trade cryptocurrencies. You trade cryptocurrencies, Oksana? That gas is broken to the downside. Hmm. Nope. Yeah, I mean it's just a non-leveraged instrument is all it is. Okay, yes, steel and gold. Okay, good. Yeah, that's kind of how I did it for a long time. I've added a few extra instruments because I'm actually forcing trades. A lot of these trades I've been doing are trades I wouldn't normally take. I usually just set up my levels and and I just if they don't come into play, I don't take any trades at all, but I feel kind of like pressured. Not by you guys, but I mean, just like I want to be able to, put some trades on so it makes it worthwhile for people to actually come in and check this out. So it takes a little bit of I'm so new to this live trading in front of people thing. All right, so let's take a look here. Yeah, thanks. I believe that true. I truly believe that I do. Um, Come into my groove eventually. JP Morgan's had a nice pullback. See, it's this rounded position that I don't like. I'd rather it come up sharp, pull back, and then go round, not round at the top, because that's when you have a gap down, it pushes up and makes a lower high. It's an outside gap. Then it does it again. I mean, that's a negative sign, and that shows on the hourly here. Oh, good. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm actually working on really converting my stock strategies over to futures if possible. I find futures trade, the charts look different than stocks. Oh, so much better, in fact. But I'm trying to work on mingling the two of them if it's possible. All right, so um, JP Morgan, not so much. SPY, obviously, that's a nicer pullback right into that, oops, right into that SPY moving average setup. That's a really nice pullback setup, actually. That would have been a decent buy on Friday. We're now gapping up considerably. Wow. So we may get a gap up and a push down immediately off the open because that's a pretty high gap up. Will it be a gap and run? Actually, the S&P does gap and run sometimes, so maybe it will. All right. Okay, Procter Gamble. Gap down and rally up. Came down to that support line. MasterCard. So far, everything we've been seeing has been looking kind of, there's only been a few that look good. Most of them are looking bearish. This looks like it's going to form a double top here. United Healthcare, United Health Group. But everything's gapping up, so maybe it's going to be a gap up and then a sell-off. So how would that affect our Canadian dollar trade? Let's think about that. Long CAD, if the US market sells off, I guess maybe no real correlation between those two. All right, Disney, geez, Disney. Gap and go by the looks of it. Today it's going to open up slightly down. Home Depot is going down. PayPal's holding, so those online transaction companies are still strong. Verizon, there's no setups here. Bank of America, get rid of this. So Bank of America, let's put that on a watch list. It's gapping up pretty sharply today, but pulling back 28.93. See, this is what I like about Bank of America. It's got room to move. There's a lot of room for Bank of America to move. They got a few dollars of movement in here, which is really nice. It's pulled back to within the moving average. Again, it's got that rounded top that I don't like that we've seen on JP Morgan. But there's really not a whole lot in the way of obstacles. So it's got some room. Yeah, it could get up to 33 area. That is if this actually holds its move. So it's gapping up today. It's going to pull back. Maybe it'll give us an entry opportunity. We'll add Bank of America to the watch list. Comcast. What did we enter yesterday? Let's take a peek at those positions quick. Market's going to open up in 1 minute here. Friday. So Friday, got on a couple trades. So let's take a quick peek at those and see where they're going to open up. Comcast looks good as well. Actually, let me write that down. CSA. So what were we in yesterday? MDT got into, no, MDT. And it gave a bit of a push, did a nice little pullback. It's kind of trading in that downward kind of channel. Oops. That down channel right there. Come on. And it gapped up. So let's see if it breaks outside of that channel. That's what we're looking for with that one. So MDT, always manage the positions that you're in at the market open. So you got Coca-Cola, looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do. I've got RIG which is looking great. I bought rig somewhere down here, so it's looking good. That's it for that computer. And then I got Dow on the other trading platform, which is basically doing nothing. Okay. Let's take a look at our Canadian dollar setup here. It's getting a bit of a bounce, kind of what I expected. I'd expect that bounce before it makes it its way lower. Let's just hope that bounce doesn't continue. Let's take a look at the other markets quick. All right. So S&P did break down and pushed up, exactly kind of what we thought. It's probably going to do a fake out in one way and then push in the other direction. That's the problem with the S&P. It does a lot of that head fakes. I tend to see that. That's why I get a little bit more cautious about um, setting up these breakout trades on some of these markets. 80 to 76, technically it was almost a 4-point move on the S&P to the short side. So it's really still holding at that little sell level right there. So it's not looking too bad. Let's take this down to a 5-minute chart. Good. All right. Got the volume starting to come in. Might go up, might go down. 50-50 odds on that. Basically could go either direction. Coppers holding, kind of looking all right. It's got a bunch of confluencing. It's above on the 5, the 15. It just got above on the 60-minute chart. Yeah. All right, so that's okay. Sorry, that's gold, not copper. My apologies. Gold, copper here now. Still kind of holding. Oil, it's pushing lower. Dang, oil. Too bad we missed that short. Natural gas, looks like it's pushing lower. And Canadian dollar is getting a bit of a bounce here. It's okay. We would expect a bounce. It's not like this is a shocker. Um, you got to expect it's not, well, it could, but there's going to be a bit of a bounce here. There was a little 5-minute level right there, which was kind of affecting price, but it's just an obstacle. The double top formation's there. The overhead supply level was created. Let's hope it doesn't go all the way back up here, but that was created. And so the next leg should be down to possibly the first target. And 35, maybe we'll take a couple off in this area here. We'll see. All right. Natural gas. What was it looking at? S&P. S&P still just retesting that level. Gold. Wow. So gold consolidated and had a nice breakout. Okay. Commodities pushing up doesn't bode well for Canadian dollar. Well, actually, it would actually work okay for the Canadian dollar. Okay. All right, let's go back to the options for a minute here. Let's take a look at the SPY. So SPY gapped, pushed down ever so slightly. That's not even considered a push down, really. That's so small. And it's pushing higher. So we're still within the first 15 minutes. And that first 15 minutes, we're only 5 minutes in. That first 15 minutes is anything can happen. So let's get rid of this. Tend to not look too much for opportunities in 15 minutes. I'll look for momentum opportunities, but it tends to be that it's less predictable. All right, so XIB, this is set up nicely. Wow. X-Link here. How are the options on this one? Yeah, so the spreads are so wide in the first 15 minutes of the day. God, just got to let that kind of do its thing here. There we go. CAD's making its next leg down. Looking okay. Let's see. We could probably drag these stop losses down here, but at this point, we're not overly concerned. We need this candle to close lower. That sets up a couple levels in between our stop loss and our entry and our current price. So this candle closing lower sets up a drop base drop and a drop base drop. Don't have that yet. Let's let this play out a little bit longer, another few minutes. All right, let's go back to our options. This chart is beautiful, beautiful. Back up above the moving averages here, all the moving averages, although they're still inverted. This on the hourly, that's okay. Everything's pointing in the right direction. Of course, again, it's still in the first 15 minutes. Let's take a look. Some other ones, MDB. Yeah, okay. What the heck is this company? Look at that thing. $4 spread on the options. No thanks. Logitech, this is on our watch list from the other day, and I put a limit order out there. That limit order unfortunately did not fill, but man, it still looks like it's set up. Let's give it some more time. SD Incorporated, it's been running away. It's too high, too far from moving averages. Not to say it won't continue going higher, but when it gets that far away, I get a little concerned that it may not, it may come back the moment you enter. Tiva, let's take a look at Tiva. Tiva's got a nice pullback off that 50 moving average on a weekly. Not fully convinced. Kraft Heinz. So there was a buy. I had a buy here. I got into Kraft Heinz. Remove that. That's old school now. These resistance points are gone. Let's get rid of these. Yeah, you know, it's still looking good, but it's coming into some serious obstacles. 35.28, 34.31. It's really not much of a reward potential. All right. So Kraft Heinz is no bueno. Unfortunately, it does look good. No, it's not worth it. Cisco. Cisco's set up nicely. Wow. This is one that's potential. Let's take a look at Cisco options. 123, 44, 276, 290. Open interest is huge on Cisco. Where are we here? What's that? Okay, just 1 second. Had an alert just trigger. Wow. S&P. Okay. All right, so that's a big push. Good for the options positions. Gold pushed. Copper still holding. Oil just triggered the alert. So there it is. So erase that alert. This little low volume level here, wasn't interested in buying it, just wanted to see if it would actually make it down there. Um, what's a CAD doing? Oh, crap. That's okay. We were kind of expecting that. I was really hoping it was going to close down here and give us a couple levels in between, but looks like it decided it wanted to push up instead. So be it. We'll see if this level holds. If not, then this trade is pretty much gone. So we could adjust these stops down a bit. I know they're within the range of the zone, but if it's going to pierce that zone, it's going to pierce that zone. It's really up to it. So reduce the risk a little bit, see if this level holds. Another reentry opportunity right there. Let's go back to oil. So oil. Put another alert line a little bit closer to that level. See if it keeps working its way lower. It's right now, if you look at oil on a 1-minute chart, it's just trailing perfectly. Let's get rid of that. It's like working its way down there like clockwork. And it's still going lower. Look at that thing collapsing. How is oil collapsing and CAD is not? That is strange. Let's see. Is this level a worthwhile buying opportunity? We got to take it seriously now because price is right there. We're 15 minutes into the morning. 3 candles have formed. 60-minute retracement on that candle right through those moving averages. Yeah, it's a lot of momentum to the downside. This level doesn't necessarily look great. It's just the location on the chart that I like. And it's got low volume. All right. Let's let that one go. See what happens. Nat gas has begun its nice little downtrend here. With a nice retracement into the moving averages on a 15-minute. Looks good. Or 5 minutes, right? Looks good for a sell setup. On a 15, let's take a look at the other charts. 15-minute chart says it needs to go higher before it can go down. Okay. I mean, this is not a bad setup. Better if it gets up here. I think here. 1, 2, retrace. Yeah. All right. Gold. Still left that little setup there on gold, but never got back there. And now it's created the second level, which is what we were hoping was going to happen on the Canadian dollar. So now it's got 2 levels between current price and, where would be a good entry. So it's not likely going to get back down there. How's the CAD doing? All right, so that little level worked again on the CAD. There was a second entry opportunity right there. Worked out nicely, and now it's going lower. Good. 50 moving average. Let's work through the time frames here. 15-minute. Looks like we got room to move on a 15. Set that up. Should be about higher right there. Let's go to a 30-minute. So there's the obstacle on 30-minute. There's an alert there. Let's get rid of that. And an alert here. Let's get rid of that. So we got a 30-minute, 8 moving average. First test of it. It's going to be an obstacle. 60 minutes much lower. Let's hope it's going to break that 30-minute. Yeah, 120-minute. Smooth sailing, 60. Smooth sailing. It's just the moving average. That's it. There's nothing else in the way in terms of obstacles. It looks like it should be a pretty smooth path down. So let's let it play out. Let it go. I'm getting alerts going off. That must be the oil, I'm going to presume. Yep. So oil's pushing lower. Okay. And let's quickly take a peek over here. Oh, options. We're 15 minutes into the day, so it's time we can put some options trades on. All right. And I mean, you could do it earlier if you want, but let's put this up. All right. Okay, so where are we here? A disc. Damn, they look good, hey? So what I'm noticing here, we got some tech stuff looking better. A disc, PayPal. Some of these look like they're getting a bit of a recovery here. Netflix is starting. This Netflix setup, damn, that looks nice. Problem with Netflix is the options. It's only $1 spread right now on a $4 stock. That makes it 25%. That ain't on a $40 option, $44 option. That's, yeah, less than 25%. That's not bad. That's a nice setup on Netflix. Oh, yes, that's right. We analyzed this yesterday. The problem was the risk. If you can withstand a $10 drawdown, sure. That's a little bit beyond my capability. And then so that's why we weren't looking at Netflix. And we were looking at this yesterday or Friday. TNA, Texas Instruments. What is it? TNA. Dextron. That's right. Gap up. All right, let's take a look. Is the S&P pulling back a little bit here? Oh, got our first target in Canadian dollar. Let's take a peek. Okay, first target Canadian dollar, 120 off. Still got a couple more working down below. Let's see if it gets down there. And again, so what I do, I go through my time frames, right? 60-minute. There's an 8 moving average on a 60-minute right there. This is going to have an effect on price. And that becomes a little scary, like $240, $200. Do you want to give that money back, or do you want to risk that it's going to bounce and potentially bottom take out? Or what's the plan on that? So I got to make a decision on that real quick. The 120-minute, basically, we're in good position on 120, 240s up above, 60. It's basically the 60 that's the obstacle right now. Now, the other thing about the 60 is there's this little wick on this candle, which means there's a zone right there, and there's going to be some sort of reaction from that zone. Take it to a 15-minute. There's a zone right here, 2 candle zone. So are we going to get into that zone, through that zone? I'm going to move my stop up. Sorry. Let's get rid of that alert. I'm going to move this target up just a couple ticks to see if we can get a push down, tick it off. You know, it's 20 bucks. So if that little tiny 2-wick zone here pushes price back up, which it will probably do something, and you know, risk 225 for the cost of 20, then, there's some issues with the trading. You got to be willing to take profits. And of course, you got to be willing to hold as well. So we got that second target. Now, I'd like to let this third target run. I can definitely take that stop, move that stop down, make this a free trade. Trying to take a look at my different time frames on my other screen here. Yeah. This is still on a 15. Let's go to a 5-minute, 15-minute, 5-minute. There's no volume there. So the only obstacle right now is at 60 then. So it's a 60-minute moving average that's kind of holding price up. So far in the bank, what is that? 245. And it's basically where we're at right now. 355 and open. Yes. Question is this a full reversal or just a correction off that supply level? That sell area right there. Okay. Well, either way, let's think here. Just let that one ride, I guess. See on the 15-minute chart, there is really one obstacle between entry and where we're at. My question to myself is, do I want to leave this target here, or do I want to move it down and see if it will just start, compelling itself to drop lower? It's going to take time to figure that out. All right, so 15-minute chart. Oops. 30-minute chart. All right, let's go to a 60-minute chart. Still in an uptrend. This is a counter trend trade. So the fact that this is a counter trend trade makes me want to take the profit, and I'll give you the logic behind it. It's likely going to continue going higher. It may make another candle lower, or it may, turn around, completely reverse and go up. One of these, and then tease you like it's going to go back down and then go higher. But it's given an opportunity here on the 30-minute, nice wick on a 30, and on the 15-minute for another entry short, but it hasn't set up yet. It has to trade below this pivot low for that to actually be valid. So technically, this is still just an uptrend that's slowly crawling its way down in a corrective move. Even though there's some momentum behind it, it's still pretty slow. All right, let's take a look at the other charts. The S&P 5-minute chart, it looks like it had that nice push up. It's a pretty big push, man. That was that head fake talking to you about in the on the opens. Sometimes it fakes out, goes down, and then goes up. That's exactly what it did. Gold. So gold had that really nice push up, and now it's got a nice level it's coming into with some moving averages here. This is the actual level I'm interested in, but that will create an obstacle in between if it does come into this level. This is going to create an obstacle over here, which will be a sell area. For a long trade, that'll be an obstacle. Copper is chopping slowly down. The thing about copper is there's really nothing in between to stop it. This is probably going to make it all the way down here. Should have really looked for a sell opportunity up here. Kind of missed on that one. Yeah, as we said about that level, said that was a very low volume level, not interested in taking it. And so oil pushed right through it. Now it's getting a bounce though, because this area that we looked at, this buy level here, has held multiple times and it's still having an effect on price. Doesn't mean it's going to reverse price, but it's having an effect. Natural gas, yeah, that little area is looking like it's doing something. Again, it's not the ideal scenario. A little bit higher would be better. Maybe up in that area. It's not quite there yet, but that would correlate with a 15-minute chart. Oops, wrong one. That would correlate with the 15-minute, and that would be the better scenario. Again, counter trend, right? This isn't a strong uptrend. We're just in a little bit of a corrective move, so always be aware. That can be, trying to trade against the current. And then we got the Canadian dollar, which is just basically holding. It's now starting to build a base on a 5-minute. So it's either going to be a drop base drop or a drop base rally. And the path of least resistance, looking at this chart, is definitely going to be up. So it doesn't mean it's going to go up, just means that is the path of least resistance. This is being built right now because it's sitting on top of a 60 moving average and it hasn't decided yet whether or not it's going to close below or it's going to push back above. And I believe there's 2 minutes left in this candle. Yeah, 2 minutes left in this candle. So it's probably going to close above or slight pierce it and then bounce. And that's what's happening right now. So we're going to see a retracement here on the Canadian dollar. Euro. We're ignoring the euro today till I get that chart back in alignment with the rest of the charts. Yeah, so that 60 minutes going to hold. You can see how the buyers are coming in right at the end of the candle. So there's something to always make a mental note of. It's the, there's a saying in trading that the novice trader opens the market and the professional closes it. And so most people put their orders in kind of at the beginning and every professional runs it right till the end of the day. Well, on a move like this where we see the close of the 60-minute candle and we see that price is beginning to rally with only a minute and 14 seconds left, it's telling us that people are profit taking on that short setup. There's a lot of people that are short, not just us. And so they're profit taking on this right now. And that profit taking is driving price slightly. It might drive it all the way back up. Maybe it doesn't, but that's having an effect on price. So we'll see if they're willing to continue selling on the next candle. Is there volume coming into this? Not a lot. Oh, just one sec. Being invaded by a 6-year-old. So 1 sec, sweetie. Let's mute this here. Mute microphone. Check, check, 1, 2. All right. Okay, sorry about that. 6-year-old invasion. All right, so looks like the new candle opened. We did get a bounce off that. If we see a little bit of a push up and then a push down, that would be better because it means it's going to leave a wick above. And that ends up becoming a supply zone. So we want that push up and then a push down. We want to see them push it up first, get more orders, then push it down. And tiny little wick, nothing significant yet, and it's a little too early to tell. So we'll let that Canadian dollar work itself out. While in the meantime, can look at some other stuff here. So let's go back to options. All right, so TNA, yeah, that looks good, but big gap up. Can't I don't generally buy on gap ups. I know a guy that does that and he does quite well on it. He knows how to manage it using options, but it's not really my cup of tea just yet. Now HPQ, HP Incorporated is looking really nice. Some significant overhead resistance there. Got to put that in. I know this guy also. Yeah, there's some people that do it and they do well at it. That's not, I've never really worked out the rules around how to manage risk when it's a gap up. But some people do it. Some people do it. I mean, anything can be done. It's just a matter of really mastering that particular skill set. I'm liking HPQ here. I'm thinking I want to buy some HPQ. It's already hit resistance once. It's in that trend. Maybe it needs a deeper pullback. Let's take a look at the options. 196 at 204. $24. 48 deltas. It's a 40-cent spread on a dollar. That's huge. Okay. Never mind HBQ. Let's look at something different. Healthcare. Yeah, kind of expect that one's going to go up. I'm going to guess Pfizer is probably, yeah, showing some strength. Not really. Okay. How about mRNA, Marina? These things have already had such a huge run up, like 100% run up in a week. Again, that's where buying the gap up can actually be a benefit. I always seem to miss out on those ones. Okay, let's take a look at Riot. Riot looks like it's taking another leg higher. A little too far for me. Labu. Wow. It's a mess. Haven't looked at that chart in a while. So again, another gap up and run. Yeah, some people are good at those. Okay, let's take a look at IBM. Made the list. Let's see. Oh, IBM. On daily chart, IBM's got a great, beautiful setup right here. How much risk would be in there? You need a few dollars of risk. $3 of risk. It's above that 50 moving average. Yeah, you know what? That's a buy for me. It's going to be overhead resistance, no doubt. It's going to come in about $10 higher. So that's a buy. I'm going to look at IBM. So the contract I'm going to look at, let's quickly pull this up. Let's pull this up. Got to pull this up on a different platform here. So IBM looking at, I'm going to put this on a couple different accounts. All right. So going to go out to the April contract, which is 123 days out. So we're at 126. So look at the 125's got 1,892 open interest. So 125, April 16. It's got a nice spread, 750 to 785. Go to April. Sorry if it's taken me a long time to do this. It's because I'm doing it across a couple different platforms here. All right, risk $3. Got it. Copy that. Okay. Select the correct account. Good. Good till cancel. And let me just think here. Let's chart this premium first. So I'm going to go to new chart, hourly. All right. So here we go. This right here is an hourly chart going back over the last few days. In terms of this option contract, you can see it's right now at 740, and it's been as low as $4 and something. Well, it's actually several days ago. Let's go closer here. Here we go. So 740 to around 678. So we're kind of right in the middle, which makes it a good price. So I'm not too concerned. I'm going to buy that at the mid, which is 68 cents, which is not going to work. So it's 85 to 50. It's a 5-cent increment. They're pushing price higher. Okay, let's go 70 then. We'll have to buy a little bit higher than we want. It's going to be 70. And I need to set up my Word documents for this, of course. And then screen print everything, which takes time. This is the beautiful thing about options, though. You do have time with options. Okay, let's go back to analyze. Window. And let's go enter. All right, so looking to purchase at 770. There we go. All right, so let's quickly label this. And let's quickly put this up here. I need it to pull back just a little bit to get that fill. I gotta just transfer this word over here. Just give me one sec. All right, not filled yet, so we'll wait till that fills. It looks like it's kind of running away on us a little bit, and that's okay. You know, typically little extensions end up with little pullbacks. And as long as it's right, the price is not too far off of where it should be, it could fill. So let's push this down. There we go. All right, sitting open and not yet filled. All right. Okay, so that trade's been set out there. It's not yet filled, and that's okay. Let's take a quick peek at our Canadian dollar setup here. Ah, there we go. We're coming back down. Looks like we're going to hit that target. Maybe move that target a little lower. Let's take a look at a 60-minute chart. $60 minutes still affecting price. bit of a, you could say a buy zone right here. And we're coming into the 15-minute, whoops, I just typed in the wrong one. 15-minute 50 moving average here. That's also correlating with the 60, so that's affecting price. So we've got a couple obstacles, right? These are obstacles. That's generally what obstacles do, is they create price movement. Doesn't mean they're reversing price though. So we'll just let this one work itself a little lower. We're currently sitting at about $380 in profit on this trade as it stands. And there's already 245 there taken out with an initial 140 that's sitting open in the trade. And I'm tempted to lower this a little bit. I'd like to see it obviously go lower, but it's a counter trend trade, so let's not be greedy. Let's just let it come down and take out that target. Not going to make it. It's always like watching molasses when you're like so close to your target, like, oh, come on, it's only 20 bucks. Come on, 20 bucks. It's like, just take it already. Just hit it already. All right, let's take a look at the other ones to see how they're doing. So the S&P actually had a nice pullback to that moving average. Gold. Wow, was not expecting that on gold. Okay, well that's interesting. It's coming back to that level. I'd be interested in buying this here. What's the risk? It's 220 per contract, so it's a pretty wide level. Maybe a zone entry. We'll keep an eye on that one. Copper kept chopping lower, just like we thought. Damn. Natural gas. Touched that level. Look at that bounce. Damn it. All right. Natural gas. Sorry, oil. That's oil. Natural gas. It's coming up to test that setup. Nice. CAD just teasing us. This is the one that's like the full-on reversal, and this is the one that we're like holding out for an extra 20 bucks. Should close this trade down. All right, let's take a look at nat gas. So nat gas coming up into this little supply level here. Now it is in an uptrend and it's in a corrective move, but this little supply level is actually not accurate. Let me fix that a bit. Should be right there. It's actually should be way up here to down there. That's a pretty big level actually. Hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm. This is the problem with nat gas. I mean, this setup, I love it. Want it all the time, but here's my problem with nat gas. I mean, it's really in a strong uptrend, and that is a counter trend trade. Well, that's hit the wrong button. Come on, nat gas. Where are you? Right there. Let's bring it back. Roll over. Come on. The problem with nat gas is, well, that must be the S&P, the oil, is that it's in that strong uptrend, though it's a fantastic pattern. Let's take a look at, I think it's, oh, sounds like CAD got our target. Yay, we got our third target. Good, at a CAD 415. Not bad. All right, let's take a look. There was gold. That's the one that we're looking at. Gold. This gold is coming down hard right now. And here's the challenge with gold, right? Let's take a look. Gold is, well, it's got that inverse head and shoulders thing happening here, that head and shoulders pattern happening. 60-minute. Nice level though. Is that level on a 15? No, there's the problem. 30-minute. Nope. So this is only a 5-minute level, no other time frame. And there's the challenge with that. So doesn't mean it won't work, just means it's a lower probability trade. All right. Look at the bounce, soft CAD. That's might just be a reaction, but it's sitting right on top of that 60-minute 50 moving average at the moment, right there, which this is very strange. I'm really what? Oh, okay. Was that my interactive brokers order? Yep. So interactive brokers, that is the option setup. So we got the fill. So IBM. Got the fill. So let's quickly send that off. Just one sec. So this IBM contract is the April 21st, 125. No, April 21st, 2021, 125 call option. And filled at a price of what is the price? 770. There we go. Let's type on filled here. All right. IBM trade set and filled. Good. Just got to type this out here real quick. So this is all right, good. So interesting. Let's take a look at the open trades we have. So reg is looking, it's actually more of a longer term hold on rig, but I'm in from, what's the price? Rig, cost basis, 82 cents. My arrows disappeared somehow, but it's somewhere, 82. Yeah, it's somewhere down here. So it's got a ways. I mean, I'm not overly concerned. I'm going to let this one go. So rig's good. MDT, which was what we picked up on Friday or Thursday. MDT. It's good. It's holding on that moving average. Coca-Cola. Yeah, it's doing nothing. But this is options. It takes time for things to work out. CAD. That's basically it. Okay. Oh, Dow. That's on this computer. Take a look at the Dow. Dow is down slightly. Dow and key actually. Dow. Yeah, not doing anything. And KEY. Yeah, it's been holding on to that one for a long time. Way longer than I would normally if it's not doing anything. But it looks like it's going to get stopped out here soon. All right, now there was a couple that we were looking at earlier, which were looking kind of nice. Bank of America, which is probably pulling back right now because it's a bank financials, and it looks like financials are giving a pullback. And we were also looking at TSM, which still looks good. Okay, let's take a look at the options on TSM right now. So 880 to 9, 20-cent spread. That's tight. That looks good. I'd like to see it get above 105. What's the risk in this? $2 a risk. $3, $2 to $3 a risk. We're getting back above that moving average here. Let's see if this candle can close up here on the hourly, and we'll take a second look at that. And Comcast. Comcast, eh? Still channeling in that range. Options on Comcast, 38 to 46 spread. That's super tight. It's amazing how tight it is now compared to what they were earlier. Just, at the open of the market, the spreads are just terrible. So how much do I like Comcast? That's the question. A nice little bull flag happening right here. Is that the lower end of that range? 50, 51. How many days till the end of the year? 14, 15 days. So what we have here is a low, high, low, lower, high, lower, low. Not a lower low, equal low, slightly higher low. So Comcast still looks good to me. It's back up above the moving averages. These are still inverted. It's always better when they're not inverted. We don't have that right now. Haven't had that for a while. But it's on the right track. I would like to see these pushing up a little bit higher. So we'll keep an eye on Comcast for the time being. Just take a quick peek at our futures. What are we looking at? The S&P. Okay, so the S&P still just building a position, basically, is what I call that. It's consolidating, doing nothing. Gold. So gold did break through that 5-minute level once again. That's why you got to be very careful. As good as this level looks, as perfect, even location-wise, it's a 5-minute level with nothing else supporting it. So that is a very good lesson right there. A great, great observation and lesson to observe. Okay, we've got copper, which is still chopping its way down to this level here, which is a high volume, not quite accurate, high volume level. Well, nothing wrong with that level. Doesn't mean I'm going to take it, just nothing wrong with that level. Oil did tap that level and gave a bit of a bounce. Say a bit of a bounce, we're talking, yeah, 20 ticks, which is great. Compared to the risk of this trade, that level's held multiple times. I know a lot of times in OTA they talk about, oh, that level's used up all its orders. It's not necessarily true how it works. Sometimes levels can be hit multiple times. It's called an accumulation level. They're just trying to buy, 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 or sell, 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 sell. Depends on the setup. Natural gas did make it back into that little sell area we were looking at. Again, 5-minute zone. It's on a 15-minute. Let's see if this is on a 30-minute. It's even on a 30. Challenge is this little zone that I have marked in here is, this is the initial 5 minute, but it's the entire range here that forms on a bigger time frame. So price could push up to here or it could push up to here. And when we start looking at risk to reward on that, it's a 38 tick, 18 tick zone. So it becomes, do you really want to take that much risk on a nat gas trade, which is in an uptrend and just currently in a corrective move? It needs to make another leg down for this to be valid. So taking a look at this on a 15-minute chart, this is a two-leg retracement. One, two-leg retracement. So again, it's not a highest probability trade for me. And Canadian dollar is basically just holding at that area where we took the last contract. So it's, we're out of that trade. That trade's done. Could continue going lower, may make it back down here, who knows, but that will take a lot of time. And I'm probably going to wrap this one up pretty shortly here. So might make it a little bit of a shorter day because I'm pretty much done on the trading on future side. And on the option side, let's take a look at the indexes again. Pull this window up, one sec, right here. Yeah, we got a gap and run, both on the NASDAQ and on the SPY, but it looks like the momentum's in the NASDAQ. So more towards tech is what it looks like. So if we look at the SPY right here, oh God, Comcast is looking great. Might just have to buy this one last Comcast. Did I buy Comcast yet? No. Let's set an order up. Let's do this. All right. So, how much is the risk? 51. Couple bucks of risk. What's the reward potential? I think it's all-time highs. So, anywhere. All right. So, looking at the 123. Let's go Comcast CMCSA. CMCSA. Yeah, so looking at the April 123 contract and looking at the $50 contract, let's chart this one. All right, there it is. So you can see there's been very little trading going on here, but it's actually trading at a pretty fair price over the last few days, so it's not bad. It's a decent price. So this one trades in 1 penny increments. Comcast. It's high volume. It's got like 1,100 open interest. No contracts traded on the April contract yet, but still pretty good spread. So we're going to look at picking it up at the mid, which is 173. Not going to be fussy. And how much risk once again? 51. Okay, yeah. Select the correct account. Oh, right there. Set that good till cancel. And then submit the order. Let me screen print this real quick. All right, so the order is in. It is to buy CMCSA Comcast. What is it here? My other screen. The April 16, 2021 $50 call option. for a price of $3.73. So that's the order set. So you're gonna need to pull back a little bit to get the fill. That's kind of how I do it. It's not too often I just buy it at the market or, take the other side of the spread unless I really feel like I need to, but most times fluctuation in price will bring it down to me. The spread right now is 238 to 250. 20 cents, just under 20%, 15%, or sorry, 10%. About 8%, 7%. Yeah, that'll work. So that's the setup right there. Just gonna screen print this, put it in my book, and if it fills, then we'll alter it, make sure that it says active trade. There we go. Instead of set order, move it to live. All right, and 732. I think that's about wrong. That's about it. All right. Take a quick peek at some others. Coca-Cola, I just want to scan through really quick. Wow, look at that Netflix, hey? I know we talked about it a couple times. It's just too much risk for me. Pfizer, looking negative. AT&T, Nike. So Nike looks pretty bad on a daily. I mean, like, it's a great setup on a daily yesterday. It wasn't yet above the moving averages. And look at today, it gapped up, sold off to the moving average, and now it looks like it might be setting up to go higher. So there's two ways to enter on a trade like this, which would not be a bad way either way. One is to, can I get an arrow here? I can't do an arrow line on this. One way would be to do an aggressive entry, which would be buying it anywhere in here, long call. The other would be waiting for it to turn white, and that would be a conservative entry. So price would have to trade back above the open. Now, an aggressive entry would make more sense today because you'd get in lower at price. Conservative entry is just too high up. It's a full $1.50 higher. So it's gapped up too high to make a valid conservative entry. It would have been better if it opened up just slightly higher, traded down, and then pushed up, and that would be the more ideal setup. Unfortunately, we don't have that scenario today. And that's okay. I don't need to force trades. There are so many different stocks to look at. For example, Intel. Look at Intel. Still technical downtrend, great chart pattern, beautiful setup. I mean, that's a great setup all day, but we're below that trend line. So for that simple reason, although it's a perfect setup, I'm just not going to enter this trade because that's lower probability to me. Merck. No. Pepsi. Looks good. Cisco. It's looking pretty good too. But there's the challenge. When we start looking at it. Oops. Yeah, it's kind of way out there, but it's kind of coming up into that trend line a little bit. Drop. It's kind of coming up. That's a fair bit of distance. A couple dollars, not even a couple dollars. No. Why bother? And there's so many other opportunities. Oracle. ExxonMobil. Look at the oil. Jeez. Oil. Costco. QCOM. Interesting. So this QCOM trade setup. This is one of those ones. Yeah, no, let's not go there. BHP. Really, really strong trend lately. Would have been nice to have entered it down here. Look at that perfect setup. One, two, a higher. So this is, I call it two-leg retracement, but this is a failed two-leg retracement, and that's a buy setup. So you get that initial push up, and then you get the first pullback, makes a low, makes a lower high. Then it should make a lower low. That would be a two-leg retracement. But instead, what it does, it makes a higher low and then gives a bullish candle. So that is actually a beautiful setup that led to a nice move, but for some reason I did not see that one when it happened, which is not uncommon. I mean, I've got so much going on. McDonald's, what the heck? All right. Now, this is good. There's nothing wrong with this. But again, it's not a buy for me. I don't buy the gap up, gap and goes. Um, Instead, what I would do is wait for this day to end, get a hesitation in here, maybe a couple days, and that would be the buy entry. But as a rule of thumb, I don't buy anything under the 50 moving average on a daily, so that makes still a no play for me. MDT, we already bought this one. Just need to break outside of that trend line. Honeywell. I can't believe these guys. That's a really, really, really nice looking chart. Just yesterday was the day, not today. Texas Instruments. That's not bad. Not bad. Let's take a closer look at Texas Instruments here. All-time highs. Just blows me away why some of these stocks are just going so nuts. It's like, what's going on with Texas Instruments? It makes it so special. Quarterly earnings are the same they've always been. They're trading at a 30 times multiple. Annualized. I guess they're just kicking it. Good for you, Texas Instruments. I assume they're based out of Texas. It looks good. It's a good looking chart. Nothing wrong with that. It's had a 1 day pullback into a range of moving average, or sorry, 1 week pullback into a range of moving averages, and it's hit that 21. It kind of pierced it just slightly, and it's now bouncing. And I mean, this is not set up. It doesn't look pretty over here, but this sure does. And so you got to kind of make that decision now at this point and say, am I willing to try and take the aggressive entry low while it's not set up on an hourly? It's back above, but they're still inverted. Um, so the risk is defined on this trade very, very clearly. You're going to need $3 of risk. Let's take a look at this. I just got to sit and ponder on this one for a little bit. It is a Monday. It hasn't gone parabolic, but it did have a really long run, and it did break that demand level. Let's take a good look at this here. First of all, let's check the options there. This is a waste of time if the options aren't good. 9 to 935. Yeah, wow. So that's good. 4% spread. 500, 600 open interest. Plenty. See, here's the fear. So one leg, will it become a two-leg retracement? It's still early. We've had the candle pierce and break above the prior day's high. It's basically a replication of this right here. 1, 2, 3 day pullback, 4 day pullback, pierce above, then it broke and went lower. And that's a two-leg retracement right there. So the question is, will this become a two-leg retracement like we've seen over here, or we've seen over here, we've seen over here? After every long rally, it gets a bit parabolic, and then boom, 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 correction. Parabolic, boom, 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 correction. Parabolic correction. This was a failed two-leg retracement. And we've kind of gotten out here. You know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this. I'm just going to take it with a half position. All right, let's set this up. The S&P is already gapped up and extended. No, I'm going to hold off. So right now, my fear is this, and let me quickly give a little lesson on this, okay? So let's save this grid. 4 time frame options, there we go. Let's quickly go to a different one. No, that's not what I want. Let's go to here. All right, so here we go. We were looking at Texas Instruments. TSN, I think it was. TSN. No, that's not it. What was that? Texas Instruments. Yeah, the buy box. TXN. All right, so Texas Instruments. Now, SPY. So here we go. Both trending up, both correlating, both moving in the right direction. But look at the relative strength. 1, 2, 3, 4 day pullback here. 1, 2, 3 day pullback with a gap down and a trend lower. This became resistance, supply. Sellers triggered and started selling and dropping this thing off. It gapped lower, traded up, hit that, and boom, big sell off. And it's kept going lower. Now today it's pushing up. So here we had 1, 2, 3 day sell off, but these are gap downs and buying, gap down, buying. And today, gap up, and it's holding so far. This day, gap up, ran. I mean, in terms of a relative strength move, this is an outside gap. This is not an outside gap. And so this chart, currently, the move today is stronger than this one, which means if there's a retracement from this move, if this turns out to be a gap up and then a retracement, this could end up being a stop out. So I'm always trying to look like these are relatively correlated. Take a look at the charts. See the big gap up, big sell off, boom, boom, boom. Relatively correlated markets, but I'm always trying to look at relative strength. Here we had the gap up, it kind of held. Here we had a gap up, it held, gap up, it held. But this day here did not show or equal or greater relative strength to the S&P. So if this pulls back, this will likely fail and stop out. I mean, just an observation. It's not necessarily what's going to happen, but that right there is kind of what I'm looking at. So could it be? Sure, with maybe a half position or maybe a small position. It's all-time highs. I mean, I'll put it on the sideline for now. All right, so looks like the index is pulling back. I just want to take a quick look at the futures. So the futures, whoops, wrong. Let's pull that up for you. There we go. So it looks like the futures are pulling back a little bit. Okay, gold. Gold pushed through that little level and it's got a bit of a bounce. Copper, it's getting a bit of a bounce before it hits that level. It's interesting. Oil had a nice bounce off that level. Now it's retraced to retest it. Nat gas pushed through that level and looks like it's pushing through all of it. So this was just a corrective move in the context of an uptrend. Interesting to know. Euro. I'm not looking at Euro. CAD. So CAD is pushing lower. Okay, that's all right. Well, that was the only one we had today. So That's okay. Good, good, good. And we're a little bit early, but I think I'm going to wrap it up because I'm going to go get some food. I hope you enjoyed this little session here. Um, was kind of interesting little session. Some markets were really, really slow to begin with, but they started moving. And we got a couple options trades on, which are basically doing nothing yet. I guess IBM's up like 17 bucks. The other trade's not filled yet. You know, I'm kind of thinking it. I got to streamline it though, because it's really getting to a point where it takes so much of my morning prep time to get this organized. So I got to figure out how to set it up so so it automatically just starts. I'm not really sure how to do that yet, but I'm going to try and do them every morning as I try and see. I'm shocked that not more people are logging in. Like, who doesn't want to enter into a live trade room? But I'm going to give it a shot. So thanks for supporting, Oksana. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here. I hope you're enjoying it. Hope it's not interfering with your normal schedule of trading and you're enjoying it. That's always a good thing. Awesome. Good. All right. Well, have yourself a fantastic day. I hope your trading is going well. And if you have any questions, always don't hesitate to type them in. That's why I'm here. And let your fellow students know, let your fellow friends know that we got this going on. So if they want to come in, they're welcome to join. I'll post in the morning the link in Twitter and Facebook, and of course, it'll be on the YouTube site if you get notifications for that as well. All right, have yourself a great day.